Off the Hook, airing on offthehooksports.com. Your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. The Off the Hook podcast at offthehooksports.com or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you go for your favorite podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Off the Hook with Dave Hooker starts now.
Off and running on this Thursday. The week flies by now that it's football season with Amanda LaFrada. I am Dave Hooker, and we are loaded for bear today, and we have an exciting announcement. So we'll get to that as Amanda apparently dropped something. Amanda LaFrada, I want to ask you good morning, but first I want to remind everybody to subscribe and like this channel, and you can hear more about the Vols and the SEC each and every day. We stream at 9 o'clock, but you can go back to our YouTube channel and listen anytime. And we've got videos with Jacob Warren. How about Cooper Mays, who Amanda did a great job of writing off recently. And just they have been able to provide a fantastic resource for us. And Chris Landry, that's the exciting news I wanted to share with you. Chris Landry will be joining us at 9:25 every Monday and Thursday. This is huge news because Chris has a resume unlike any other in the media biz, and that is a scout for Nick Saban, a co-worker with Nick Saban for the Browns, and a coach for Bill Belichick. That's not bad. Good morning, Amanda LaFrada. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. I'm excited. So Chris Landry to join us, and we have more announcements coming up as we get ramped up for football season. Some more regular guests, people that you're going to know and you're going to like a lot. Plus, from time to time, we'll have commentary from Cooper, Jacob, and we'll also have commentary from Josh Ward and John Adams. So that's all there on the YouTube page. So Amanda LaFrada, before we get to headlines, may I just say you have some very strong feelings on Deshaun Watson as I watch from afar on the Twitter.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
We'll talk to Chris Landry about that. It is time for headlines. Headlines brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, City Heat and Air. How about go to cityheatandair.com if you want integrity? How about the fact that you can get honesty? You don't get that with just anybody. That's City Heating and Air Conditioning. So cityheatandair.com. All right, let's get to headlines. A lot going on in the news. Tennessee practicing as we speak. If you're listening to the live stream taped, that would be Thursday morning. First day in shoulder pads was on Wednesday. And the talk has, coming out of Wednesday's camp, first day in shoulder pads, the linebackers look to be much deeper. I had to double count this. 6 senior linebackers. Now, part of that is because they're like these redshirt seniors and stuff because the COVID year is all goofy. But still, that's a lot of leadership that I think you like. And then Jeremy Banks, from the people I talked to, has realized how special he can be. And when I say special, I'm talking about first, second round pick in the NFL. And I think he's taken it upon himself to be more consistent in his assignments and be more serious about being great. This is a contract year. He'll be in the draft next year. He'll be at a camp next year. Trust me, a lot can change in a year. So some other news as far as Tennessee, according to what I believe, Amanda is the worst predictor of games, but quantifiably it should be the best, is the college FPI. The Football Power Index that takes into account who you play and all that stuff. I'm just curious if you like it. You and I haven't discussed it before, but they got Tennessee going 7-6. Thoughts?
I think it's stupid. I've never liked. Sorry, I just think it's stupid.
I think it's stupid. That's 5 words. Bam.
I have never liked the Power Index. I think so my problem with them and with the Power Index and strength of schedule is it starts out with just opinions, basically. That's all. When people are scheduled, when they're ranked 1 through 25, and then it's just people's opinions before the season even starts. So you can't say, oh, in the second week, we played somebody who was ranked, 4th in the nation, and then they end up having a 3-9. Like that's what they end
Right.
up, and it's just that doesn't make any sense to me. How can you possibly rank people until you get to a certain maybe 5 games into the season? I don't know how you can strength of schedule that.
I'm going to get your thoughts on rankings on something, but I do want to run this down real quick. So Tennessee has a 95% chance of beating Ball State, a 37% chance of winning at Pitt. Seems low to me. That's a 50-50 game at best. Again, this is something I don't like. I'm sharing with you. I don't think it's very accurate. 97% chance beating Akron, a 60% chance of beating Florida, which they've done one time since 2005. Yet the
So
37% chance at Pitt. It doesn't. Wait, it gets worse. LSU, a 32% chance. I can see that on the road. Alabama, an 11% chance. I can be honest with you, that seems high. UT Martin, 98.5%, of course. Kentucky, 47.4%. I can roll with that. That's a swing game.
Yeah.
Georgia, a 7.4%. So you're telling me that Tennessee has a better chance of beating Alabama, okay? Has a better chance of beating Alabama that has everybody returning, as opposed to Georgia that loses almost an entire defense. If you can explain that to me, then go ahead and sell me some beachfront property in Tucson, Arizona.
Who comes up with this?
It's theoretically, it's analytical, and it's what I wanted this college football committee to be. And I'm going to explain that to you in a second. Okay. So Mizzou, 78% chance of winning, South Carolina, 55% chance of winning, and Vanderbilt with an 87% chance of winning. So by the time you do all of that, Tennessee, according to the ESPN College Football Power Index, is supposed to be 7-6. Now, with this power index,
did you say ESPN?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
It's the ESPN's power index. Well, that's fair. So when I look at this, Amanda, and ESPN's heart is in the right place of trying to come up. Well, you're right, it's not. But maybe with this endeavor, it might be. And here's why. Because the college football committee is stupid. Okay, I'll just go ahead, and I don't know that you know that I have this strong an opinion. It's dumb to have 12 people sitting around, and one was Condoleezza Rice. I don't care what you think of politics. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense. But
she's very smart football-wise. Just FYI.
She is. Stanford, totally respect her. Totally, but I think she's probably a lot smarter in politics. But when I look at the whole concept of a group getting together and picking the Final Four, it turns my stomach. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have to include non-Power 5 teams that aren't as good. Cincinnati, I think, was an exception. I think they were a top 4 team, but there's always pressure to include those teams. I think there's always pressure by some not to have 2 SEC teams. I think there's pressure by the SEC to have two SEC teams. So it's all political. Do you remember the old BCS formula?
Computer.
Yeah. That's what you do. And I don't care if Alabama and Georgia play 1 and 4 because that's where they rank, then that's just where they play. But now they stagger them, and it's so transparent. They stagger them so they don't play each other in the first round. But the old BCS formula is the way that they should have gone, but instead they have this college football committee. Amanda, I think you're very open-minded. But you and I and everybody have personal agendas. And I can tell you I have professional agendas.
We know.
Yes, I want this to be as successful as humanly possible. So with those agendas, would I be the right guy necessarily to ask who should be in a college football playoff? No, because if it was up to me, I'd have 4 SEC teams because it's better content for our show. I know it's stupid.
It's true. It's true.
So, I mean, everybody has agendas, Amanda. Getting 12 people together and thinking you're going to come up with a good 4 is philosophically asinine.
I mean, I agree with that. That everyone's problem, I feel like, with the BCS wasn't necessarily the computer issue; it was the two teams. I think that was the problem. I don't understand how we went from, hey, the computer's choosing the best two teams, just analytically speaking, breaking down, taking emotion out of it. That's what a lot of people don't do. Is people are naturally emotional and they cannot take emotion out of things, which is going back to the Deshaun Watson thing. However, it would have been solved if the playoffs had the BCS formula and they did the top four teams based on computer
Thank you.
calculations.
Thank you.
That would make a lot more sense
Thank you.
than 12 people sitting around going, okay, well, because it is all politics essentially, and maybe that's why they chose Condoleezza Rice.
I think it was because she could group people together and bring them together, which I do think she was very good at. But
Yeah.
thank you for agreeing with me, because everybody looks at me like I'm bananas when I mention this to other media members. And I mentioned it actually to Roy Kramer, and I think I told you this story, and I called him Roy because it was my very first SEC Media Days 25 years ago. He likes being called commissioner, for the record. So I said, Roy, and here I am, 25-year-old kid, and he's a 60-year-old man. But I said, you realize that this BCS formula you're putting together just paves the way for a playoff. And he's like, oh, no, it doesn't, because he was anti-playoff. He was a bowl guy. But that's exactly what it did, and it should be back in place. The Big 12 searching for adding new programs, and Brett Yormark, the new commissioner, has even said the league is open for business. That's just sad. When you have to say that publicly, I mean, I don't want to take the analogy too far, but it's almost just like somebody that's ready to start dating, and they put on Facebook, I'm Dave and I'm open for business. It just is. Is it not sad?
I mean, it's like a Match.com right now, to be honest, or Tinder. It's like the Big 12 is sitting there and the teams are popping up and they're swiping left or swiping right to decide, yes, we like them or no, we don't. And they just need to get matches. Like, if we could match, let's match.
And wait, it gets worse. This, according to Charlie Walters of the St. Paul Pioneer Press, the Big 12 Conference is said to be quietly seeking the Minnesota Golden Gophers. But Minnesota can't afford the revenue loss of the new Big Ten network deal, which, with the expansion of USC and UCLA in 2 years, could be worth nearly $100 million a year. So
why Minnesota? Like, what is why go after a Big Ten team? What is wrong with you? Unless the Big Ten's going to drop them.
You used the word the other day that I'm stealing because I like it, thirsty, which basically means desperate. That's desperation. I mean, you're going to go away if you don't have somebody. And Minnesota is not going to draw any big football numbers, and they're probably not going to come. That's sad. I mean, the Big 12 used to be big.
So sad. Well, it was called the Big 12. What I feel like they should do is they should target these smaller, not necessarily smaller schools, but smaller programs that are on the rise. Just target those guys. Bring them in. Have them, sitting there. Y'all can battle it out, and then maybe you'll become a Power 5 conference, because with the NIL and with the transfer portal and all of that stuff, you can get the scraps from other teams. You can get the scraps. I know that sounds terrible, but you can. You can get the scraps from the Georgias and the Alabamas and the Ohio States and the people that aren't going to work out in big time, like big boy college, basically, big boy teams. You can get the scraps, put that together. It'll be like a flag football league, kind of, except for.
I know you're joking, but I actually think that's about what's going to happen.
I'm not joking.
Yeah. Okay. I think there's going to be 30 super conference teams. There's going to be about 70 others that kind of just call together what they can, and that might be entertaining football, Amanda.
I think you should have that. You should have you have the haves and you have the have-nots, and they are the have-nots. So put all the have-nots together, battle it out. Maybe one of you can come up and beat the haves.
They should call you because Amanda is a marketing expert. That would be the key. Is they would need to play it on, like, I know I'm thinking outside the box, like a Wednesday, Tuesday night, and make it an event, because Monday's taken, Thursday's taken, Friday's taken, Saturday, Sunday's taken. I would try to do like the MAC has done and play midweek games, a little MACtion, and try to grow around that, because you're not going to be outwatched against the NFL. I mean, you're not on Thursday night. Friday, television ratings are always down. It's the old saying, well, that, but they don't even care about the altruistic side of that, which is you shouldn't play on Friday night so that high school can benefit. They don't even care about that anymore. They'll just take up the TV time. But the TV numbers are always down on Friday night, and I just think as a culture, you take the missus out on Friday night, you have a good time, and she's all right with you watching football all day from noon to midnight. Now, I know you love football, so you're different. But I think that's how the average family unit that has a sports fan in it works.
Well, I also think that the average family has kids that either cheerlead, in the band, play football. So on Friday nights, when high school football is happening, they're at the football game. That's my point. They're not sitting at home watching TV. They're at the football game. But speaking of, just going to share a small story with you.
I'm ready for a small story.
Well, my husband decided that the Packers are playing the Titans, and I'm a Titans fan. Clearly not as diehard as I am college, but he is a diehard from Wisconsin Packers fan. Like, we own a little bit of the Packers. We just have one of those like stock things or whatever.
Yeah, anyway. I think more people have that than Heisman votes.
Yeah, so I just say we own a little bit of the Packers. But he said, "Hey, so for your birthday, I'm thinking that in November we play the Titans at Lambeau. So I was going to get, tickets, and we're going to go up to Lambeau, and that's going to be part of your birthday present. Part of my birthday present."
Yeah, that's well played.
Yeah, it did not. It did not. No, it didn't go over well. It did not.
I think that's well played. Michael, good morning to you and everybody that's online. Go ahead and feel free to post your messages. Best when you do it on YouTube so that we can see it immediately. If you have any questions for Chris Landry of LandryFootball.com, he is coming up at 9:25. That'll be every Monday and Thursday. So it doesn't have to be a Tennessee question. It can be off the beaten path. I do want to preview the SEC East a little bit with him today, and I know Amanda has some questions she wants to ask. But if you want to get on board, ask about your favorite team, go ahead and feel free to put it in the YouTube feed now, and we will ask the question. Also, we've got some shirts to give away a little bit later, so we're looking forward to that. Craft Treats is who you need to think of storm anxiety time. And poor little Ava, the puntable pooch.
Oh my gosh, I will kill you.
Okay, but poor Ava was super scared last night. You gave her Craft Treats. What happened?
She calmed down. It's the most insane thing, because she is terrified of loud noises, because as you've seen, her ears are huge. So I feel like she gets a lot of noises. So she's terrified of loud noises, but she came in, she follows me around in like pants and stuff. So I gave her a treat because the thunder started, and she went and laid in her bed and just chilled out, and the bed's right next to the window, which is what's insane. She just laid there, she's just cool after that. Like, she didn't pant, she just kind of chilled like she normally does. And that was, it's amazing, and amazing the fact that she actually eats the treats, because she turns her nose up at everything.
That's not good. Today's tough question. You admittedly said before the show that you were struggling a little bit. Sometimes they're easier than others. Do you want to take the break to think about it?
I do. I want to take the break.
That's fair because I got nothing either, or I would suggest something. All right, so coming up after this, Chris Landry, our Thursday guest at 9:25. We're excited about Chris Landry at LandryFootball.com. Any questions you have, NFL, college, I mean in depth, he can answer them. That's Chris Landry. Right after this, stay tuned. She is the lovely Amanda LaFrada. I'm just Dave. More after this. 2 minutes.
Gary Viles here. I want to personally invite you to North Knoxville's newest sports bar and restaurant. It's Big Orange Phillies, located in Black Oak Center. And yes, folks, it's happening in Halls. Big Orange Phillies offers family-friendly environment with homemade meals and the best deli-style subs around. Billiards, darts, jukebox, shuffleboard, and cornhole, and a full bar. We also offer valet parking on weekends and during special events. We even have a covered back patio. It's happening at Big Orange Phillies. We want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
This is Al's Dish Barbecue Supply, so come on in and see all the different rubs and sauces we have, plus a complete line of Green Mountain grills. Don't be overwhelmed. We have plenty of help so you can produce the best barbecue and amaze your family and friends. Barbecue is America's food. We'll do what we can to bring you all the best products. We're Al's Nest Barbecue, but Chattanooga goes to grill.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
Certainly is worth the drive with Amanda LaFrada. I'm Dave Hooker. We're joined by a very special guest that we will be each and every Monday and Thursday at 9:25. It is Chris Landry of LandryFootball.com. Chris, thank you, sir. We look forward to visiting with you throughout football season. I've said it before, and it's not because we're friends. LandryFootball.com is a must subscription if you are a football fan. How are you, sir?
I am doing great. Great to be on with you guys' show. Hello, Amanda. It's just, it's fun. It's particularly fun now with football season is just, hey, it is technically football season tonight, kind of preseason football. Some people think it's football. It's football tonight. Dave said it last week when we talked. Hey, this last week was the last weekend without football. I didn't want to break it to him that I've been watching Canadian Football League for the past few weeks.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
starting tonight, we got football. So great to be with you guys.
Well, we certainly do appreciate it. Again, go to LandryFootball.com. You should subscribe there, and you will absolutely love the coverage. All right, Chris, I want to start with Tennessee. Cameron had a question. He asked about the thoughts on the strength of the schedule this year, and is this the year that Tennessee does beat Florida? I had to triple check, Chris. Tennessee has beaten Florida once since 2005. I'm not kidding. I went to Tennessee's online media guide. I went to Florida's to double check. It didn't seem right, but as Danny says, the past means nothing. So I guess it doesn't. But still, that's a pretty stunning stat if you think about those games in the 90s and 2000s.
It really is. 2005 feels like 2 years ago for me, but I'm going to remind myself, not anybody else, because everybody knows this. We are entering 2022, so it is amazing. And I don't know, do you really even call it a rivalry when that happens? It's you gotta make some. I think it's a big year, and I'll say this, that I don't know if it's their year to beat them, but I think it's their best chance because they're getting Florida in a transition. And look, I'm not one of those you better do it now or you're never going to do it type people, but I think Florida's only going to get better. And, I think Tennessee's, if they're going to have the type of season that maybe a lot of their fans hope, they've got to win one of those games between Florida and LSU that are potentially, swing games. Those teams can beat Tennessee. Tennessee can beat them. That'll probably determine it. And so maybe I'm not. That's a question we'll handle once I see Florida and Tennessee evolve during the year, because even though it's early, injuries, a lot of factors, I'm not ready to pick that one yet.
No, that's fair. I know Amanda wants to jump in there, but they have this college football ratings index by ESPN. It's my least favorite of predicting games, so you can rip it if you want. It's Amanda just said it's stupid.
It is. I'm sorry. It's stupid.
Tennessee has a 37% chance of beating Pitt at Pitt. I don't even understand how you come up with that number.
Yeah, I don't know. The analytic stuff is, I think it has some merit in football only if you can apply it with football sense. But the just plain numbers, I would flip that. I would say that based upon Pittsburgh's personnel and Tennessee's personnel, I think there'd be a 37% chance that Pitt could win at home.
Gotcha.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
Perfect. Chris, for some reason we lost your video. We still have you perfectly clear.
Let's see here. Maybe I hit the wrong. I don't know what happened there. There we go. I came back. Losing the video is usually, if it's my video of me, it's usually a good thing. So we just to make sure. Just don't lose the video of Amanda, and we're good. Dave, we could block out you and I with a black screen. It may be better, but
yeah, I'll just go ahead and hit that right there, and then I'm gone.
There you go.
Danny saying Amanda is not just pretty; she is smart. She also is very She also is very self-confident, Danny. So let's not give her the big head. Chris's appearance brought to you in part by Owl's Nest Barbecue. Owl's Nest Barbecue has the rubs, has the sauces. Chris is a big barbecuer, so I got to send him some stuff down. Owl's Nest Barbecue in Ooltewah has the wood chips and those Green Mountain grills, which are awesome. So you need to get to Owl's Nest Barbecue right next door. Steve Ray's Midnight Oil. He works on my car. He should work on yours. Amanda, I know.
So, and
Yes.
before Amanda's question, is this a good thing or a bad thing? So I had to go to get some blood work done the other day, physical, and I asked what's my blood type. They said it's Owl's Nest brisket. Is that a bad sign? I have been using it so much, and I've been grilling so much. Anyway, I kid, but I do think the Owl's Nest is in my blood now. So sorry, Amanda. I didn't mean to. I had to throw that in because I have just,
You're fine. Is that what O stands for? O positive? Is that the Owl's Nest?
Yes,
that's what it is. Yeah.
That makes sense. You're O positive. Okay.
Good one.
So I have a question for you, and this is kind of just coming from somebody who obviously watches and loves college football. I don't see Georgia being as good as everyone says that they're going to be this year. And that's just because they're rebuilding on defense. And I'm sorry, Kirby Smart's not Nick Saban. He's just not. And this is the first time I think we've seen him rebuild a complete defense, basically. So what are your thoughts on that? And also, what are your thoughts on Stetson Bennett as a quarterback? Do you trust him or do you not?
I think Georgia is – I think Alabama this year, and I think overall as a program is kind of a cut above. Last year was Georgia's year, but I think I would put Alabama, at least this year, is maybe at the top, and there's a little gap. But then after that, I would probably put Georgia in the category with, say, Ohio State, who I think is really good. I still think Georgia might be one of the four best teams in the country. I don't know if that means that they're going to get there or not. But I think that they lost a lot, we all know, on defense. But they've recruited – the reason why they've got an elite program like Alabama, like Ohio State, is they recruit an elite level every year. So what they are going to lose is the elite level senior talent from last year, but they've got some really salty, good young players on defense. The thing, though, to tie it into your other question, I'm very respectful of what Stetson Bennett has meant for that team, and I thought he was functional enough for them to win last year with that defense because he didn't have to carry the team. But when they needed him to make plays, he was able to do it. If the defense is just good, very good, but not great, and they need to be more explosive on offense, can he do that on a game in, game out basis? I question it. I still look at their schedule, though, and tell me who beats them. I don't think Oregon's going to do it. I don't see anybody beating them on their schedule. Maybe at Kentucky. I mean, anything can happen. Last year at this time, you wouldn't have seen me say A&M's going to beat Alabama. No, but it could happen. I still think they're very good, but I don't know that they're national championship good. I don't think they're going to repeat. I think that Alabama is certainly the team to beat nationally, and if I was to pick the number 2, it would probably be Ohio State.
Chris's appearance also brought to you in part by The Mattress Place. The Mattress Place is right there on Chapman Highway. It is very easy to find. No gimmicks, 30 to 70% off each and every day. The Mattress Place. And The Mattress Place is veteran owned and has just a buku of 5-star reviews. So you know you're going to be taken care of. And it seems like it's far away from downtown. It's not. It's about 2 miles. So The Mattress Place, check them out. Chris, you are probably going to get a heated response at some point from Amanda on this. She has some strong feelings, and it's not going to be what you think, okay? Since that's what they call a tease in the radio business. So, Chris, the Deshaun Watson thing, we pride ourselves in being focused on Tennessee and the SEC. However, there is the tie-in with Jimmy Haslam being the owner there. You've spoken your mind on this show that you think he's not the best owner in the world. But he does have a lot of money. He put all that contract of money in escrow. I don't think the other owners like him at all. So, 2-part question. One, what did you think of the decision that's now been appealed by the NFL, who has the ultimate say? And is there any chance that, much like I think the NFL is trying to run Daniel Snyder out, that one day Jimmy Haslam, the other owners might try to run him out?
Well, loaded question there. First of all,
that's a lot of questions. I'm sorry, that's a lot.
No, that's okay. Deshaun Watson, here's the thing, and it's the danger of today's world that we all think we know what happened. I don't know what happened. I know what's been reported. So, I mean, I don't want to blindly trust somebody, but I would expect the person that had all the information, that is experienced in legal matters, which I am not, is experienced in criminal justice matters, which I am not, and has all the details, like people that they talk with and everything, which I don't have, I would trust that decision, they're in a better position to make it. Now, I'm also not going to say, yeah, they did it, because, again, I don't know. I don't know because I don't have the information. You're going to hear both sides of it. Like I heard what they only interviewed, 4 people out of the. Well, why is that? Did they not want to interview? I mean, I don't know that.
They threw out the other cases that just I've been like really deep into this. That the NFL just said that the 4 out of the 5 were the most like damning cases, basically, and the other ones were not as like.
And yeah. I got to trust people who have more information on that than I do. And I'm not trying to dodge it. In my opinion, based upon what I hear, the fact that I don't like hearing things like, I don't know, they ask questions. I've heard that one of the things that I have heard from inside the league was that they asked I guess you call them victims, well, what were you wearing? Which, okay, I don't know. Maybe that's relevant to me. I don't know. That's not.
I think it's relevant.
Well, wait. Let's stop there for a second. Amanda, being from the female perspective, how do you see that being relevant? Because to me, that is kind of putting some of the blame on the potential victim. But
no, the reason why I say that's relevant, there's a difference in going to a massage therapist who has a uniform as a massage therapist on. From what I have heard, and I'm not saying this is true, but the rumors that are going around there's a difference in going to one of those that where it looks like Massage Envy, like
And
a
one,
normal therapist,
yeah,
and
one
one that's
next to
dressed
it,
in lingerie.
yeah, or
Yeah,
one that's next to
that's
a
a big
truck stop.
difference.
Yeah,
So, in
Exactly.
terms of information, you would want to know that. Yeah, I
yeah.
never
Yes.
really thought it like that. Not someone who has gotten a massage. I never really, again, ignorance here to fair point. So, look, I don't know. It, on the surface, I'm like anybody that said, well, if he was the only thing I would say is when you, and I mentioned this to you guys before, the only thing that's alarming to me that I know is factual is if you got 40 massage therapists, there's something wrong there. I am familiar with how guys get, massages in the league and how it's done. That seems to bring a lot of suspicion. Is that enough to say, well, you should be suspended for a year or longer? No, that's not enough information. But I would have thought, and I know that I can tell you the league stance is they want him suspended for a year because they think it's, and league is PR, whether right or wrong, they don't want to have the female community, which is a big part. They buy shirts and hats and whatever too. They don't want to have that says, well, they don't care women. And obviously the victims have already said the NFL doesn't care about women. They care about money. You know what? That's true. They care about money and only money. But part of getting the money is let's not offend the growing fan base of women. So that's my take on it. I don't know. I don't know if they got it, if it should be 6 games or 8 games. I thought it was kind of low, but that's based on just what I hear, which is not enough to make a judgment.
Chris and I talked yesterday about what somebody would have to pay me to be a beat reporter like I was in my 20s and 30s when I, had a lot of energy and that sort of thing. And I would pay to be the beat reporter for the last 18 months for the Cleveland Browns. Given the Deshaun Watson Baker Mayfield thing, that's too much good content.
The truth is,
so.
you said that in order to be a beat reporter, somebody would have to beat you over the head with a stick and threaten to do that. That's what you really told me.
That is very, yeah.
Volunteer.
It is.
We got to volunteer.
There's zero relations anymore. It's just no fun. You get to know the coaches or the players. Anyway, here's what we do know, and I guess we'll leave you with this. If somebody has a question for Chris, go ahead and post it on the board, and we'll get it in. But here's what we do know about the third-party negotiator that came in, Sue Robinson. She came away saying these 4 things. Watson committed sexual assault against the 4 massage therapists.
No, misconduct.
That's what she said. Watson, this is the Washington Post, and I'm going to take them over Amanda. No offense. Washington committed sexual. This is Washington Post. Washington committed sexual assault against the 4 massage therapists. Robinson found the NFL approved its contention that Watson committed sexual assaults against 4 therapists. Number 2, Watson's conduct posed a genuine danger to the safety and well-being of another person. Number 3, Watson's behavior undermined his NFL's integrity. Number 4, nevertheless, Watson's behavior was not considered violent conduct. If you believe all of that, and Amanda said she doesn't, but if you believe what the Washington Post is reporting,
it should be a longer suspension based on the
Yes.
first 2, if it's true.
yes, agreed.
I don't know why. If it's because it wasn't. I mean, what's the definition? Okay, so it's not violent. The first 2 suggest to me I would say just to throw it out without any real a year suspension. Just if you sexually assaulted somebody, if that's what they found, then it should be more than 6 games. If I don't know if it's violent, I don't know. That may be to me 5 seasons. If it's violent, and they said it wasn't. So I don't know. That's part of what my concern is what the hell is the truth? I mean, what's the real truth? I don't know. I don't know what happened.
And Chris, you've been working on your own, but I can tell you that in HR experiences, before I would fake an important phone call and leave, that they would tell you simple things like grabbing a girl's rear at work is sexual assault. I mean, that technically is sexual assault. Now, is that violent? You can decide. But so it could be any number of things. Amanda has strong feelings on this. I'm going to give her the final word.
Yes.
And then I've had about all the Deshaun Watson I can take.
My
The
issue with
anger
a lot of
seethes
this-
from the young lady. The anger seethes.
My issue with a lot of this is that the so-called victims, they do not have to put their names on anything. No one ever
That's
has
fair.
to know. They have no backlash if it comes back that they are lying or what have you. They have no backlash to this. Their names aren't out there. And maybe that's a good thing, but it's also not a great thing, because then it just leaves this one person hanging out to dry. Now, Deshaun Watson has 18 massage therapists who have put their names out there and said, these are our experiences with him. This is how we feel about it. We don't think any of the accusations that are brought against him were true. And he has 18 that have put their names out there in the public to say, like, we support him and this is why. Could they have been paid off? Yes, it's possible. But if 2 grand juries refuse to indict him based on what was brought to their attention, then I don't understand how the NFL can have a stance on that. I understand that it is a private organization and that the civil suits and stuff, you don't have to have as much proof as you do in a criminal sense. But if most of the women, and I mean most as in there's one that's still not settled, has settled for financial compensation, that to me takes their arguments down to a level. Whereas you want money and you don't want to pursue charges further. I don't understand that.
It lowers it some, and let's leave it at this. I'll give you an example. Chris knows I had hip replacement surgery 3 years ago. Well, I was told 4 years ago that the bone was structurally sound, everything was fine. So I spent a year thinking I had a groin pull. So I wasn't going to pay them my deductible because I felt I'd been wrong, and I looked into suing them, but malpractice insurance is hard to overcome. So it was $2,200 that I supposedly owe them. Like, I don't think I should pay it. You misdiagnosed me. At the end of the day, you know what they said? I was on a conversation right before Chris. They said, we can settle it and we don't have to go to court for $1,400. And I was like, all right, fine. I've got too much going on in my life. You're still wrong, but I got to move on. So
that could be Deshaun Watson's view, but also going back to Sue Robinson.
I mean, that could be the ladies' view that they're done with it. But I know
that could be both views. But going back to Sue Robinson, it says Mr. Watson engaged in sexual assault as defined by the NFL, not as defined by law.
That's a big difference. And I mean, just to your question, Amanda, about the NFL, because I can speak to that. The NFL, and you kind of laid it out. There, if you get a call to a police for domestic because you yelled at your wife, verbal abuse, and the police come out, that's maybe minor to some people. The NFL has you doesn't have to rise to the level in the criminal courts for the NFL to say our policy is 4 games, 6 games, whatever. I think if you look at some of the other suspensions, for far less have gotten just as much or more. And I think the message, I go back to what I said, it's a message, it's a PR message that the NFL doesn't like. We want more game suspension for this guy because or at least maybe they don't want it, but they want to do the appeal and they will do the illegal appeal so that it comes out and they say, look, we don't support any sort of violence against women. We appealed that. We think it should have been longer because it placates we're going to put the PR effort to say that we're against this because we want all of you women out there to love us and buy all our products. That's what it's about.
Yep, that is absolutely correct. Because if it was about justice for these women or whatever, Tyreek Hill would be out of the NFL. He'd be
My
out of the
God.
NFL.
My God, what I mean,
Broke
there's
his kid's arm.
nothing worse than that. What he did,
No.
supposedly punched his pregnant girlfriend. I mean, my God, I want to
Mhm.
take him behind the shed and just whip him until,
Yeah.
it's awful. And those are the type of things. And one of the things that kind of Amanda alluded to this, she didn't say this, but one of the things that we tell guys all the time, players in the NFL, don't ever we know you're young and all this, and this is never going to happen to me. Just like, I'm never going to get in a car accident. And I just had a few drinks. Don't be dumb. You use the darn card with the 800 number that's in your wallet, or it should be in your wallet, to get you a driver wherever you are and anywhere. Don't ever put yourself in a situation where even a woman could threaten that, because they could be coming after your money. They may be exaggerating a story to get a settlement, because the Browns, the NFL, Deshaun Watson all wants it to get away. What does he have more than anything? Money. So
Yep.
you can use the money to buy it off. Now, is that enough? Whatever. It does not mean that any of these women are making it up or exaggerating. But
it's a possibility.
it's always that possibility. So be smart. We tell them that we're blue in the face, and it never works, but you got to try, right?
Chris, great stuff. LandryFootball.com. Become an insider. Subscribe. I only have people in the program that I personally endorse, and that subscription is going to make you the envy of your friends at the water cooler. Great stuff, Chris. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Amanda. Take care. Have a great day.
Thanks, Chris. You
Chris
too.
Landry will join us each and every Monday and Thursday at 9:25, where we'll be able to answer your questions about some in-depth stuff with Tennessee football. We think you'll like that, and SEC football and the NFL. Zool Beer Company, rocking and rolling into the weekend. That is a great place to hang out, as they've got the big panoramic views, and Amanda, they've got award-winning beer as well.
Yeah, it's a great place to get beer. It's definitely different. It's not going to be your typical like light beer or the stuff that you see domestically like on the shelves all the time. It's going to be really good beer made with really good ingredients, only the best, with the best brewer, who's literally like 28 years old and is just insanely good at what he does. He wins medals. He wins awards.
So are we anywhere closer on today's tough question?
Yes, I'm actually done.
Oh, okay. I had a thought, but do you want to go with yours now?
What was your thought?
Well, no, go ahead. Let me hear yours.
Okay, well, I was saying I looked at the preseason rankings for 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And who do you think is the most overrated team in the preseason 2022 rankings? And I
love it. I love it.
3 choices and then one other comment, because you never know. So I have Texas A&M at number 1. I have Georgia at number 2. I have Utah at number 3. No, actually, I had Notre Dame at number 1. Sorry, not Texas A&M. My bad.
Wait, Utah?
Utah's ranked 4th.
Okay. I thought we were sticking to SEC teams. I guess that's what surprised me. What preseason ranking are you going by?
I'm going by, it's CBS, I think.
Okay.
Let me look.
Okay. I'll have my answer. We'll figure that out in 2 minutes. This is a presentation of Off the Hook Sports Message Board Bingo coming up. What Tennessee fan is stupid or SEC fan is stupid? Because we haven't found any Tennessee fans that are stupid, but we found a lot of SEC fans that are stupid. More after this.
It's Gary Viles here, Viles Automotive on Callahan Drive. I've been selling cars here in East Tennessee for 27 years. In that time, I've come to realize it's not about the car. It's about you, the customer. So I'm here to take care of you just like family. Good credit, bad credit, you name it, we can get you taken care of. If we don't have it, we can find it for you. We go across the country to get any vehicle that you want. And here at Viles Automotive, we don't believe in fake numbers. We just give you great deals. And as always, we want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Bassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Bassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
This is Steve Rain. I own the Midnight Oil and Michelin Tire Direct service station here in Ottawa. It's not a fancy place, never has been, but it's a clean place with clean restrooms and good folks who work here. We sell gas and fix cars, nothing glamorous, but we love what we do, and we're going to keep doing it for a long time to come. There's not many real service stations left, and that's a shame. We're the guys, just like the guys back in your hometown. We'll fix your tire, change your oil, and put a new set of Michelins on your car. If you want a Twinkie, you'll just have to keep on going. Thanks for the business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare. All right, Amanda LaFrada. So today's tough question is.
So it is, out of the 2022, who do you think is the most overrated team in preseason 2022 rankings? And I know you said let's go with some SEC teams.
No, I said I thought that's what you said. Go ahead. You do you.
Yeah, well, there's SEC teams aren't ranked that super high in the top 25. But I said Notre Dame, Georgia, Utah, or other.
Okay, well, I mean, the answer is easy. It is
What's the
Utah.
answer?
Well, it's Utah. I mean, because Utah may end up winning 10 or 11 games this year because of who they play. But if they were in the SEC, they'd be Mississippi State. So, I mean, it is Utah as a whole. But I if you wanted to say how they end the season, I'm not so. Well,
Notre Dame is always overrated. Someone agreed.
Well, right, and I'm not sold on the Notre Dame coach. They were kind of caught in a pickle when Brian Kelly left, so they hired the coach that his name escapes me, but they hired the coach that the players liked. That is usually a big monster red flag. I mean, 9 times out of 10 that doesn't work out. 9 times out of 10 when a player says, "I like him a lot, he's a player's coach," then he's not a good coach. There are
Shane Beamer's a player's coach.
I said 9 out of 10, didn't I?
Okay, that's true.
I mean, I'm fine with it. And I would say Dabo Swinney. He's won a championship. I think he's fallen off the map since, but he's a player's coach. So he would be an example of that. But most of the time, in my experience, when somebody says player coach, you need to be scared of your coach. So that's the guy that Notre Dame has. Georgia, I'm going to lean on what Chris said, that they will have some War Daddies in there to replace the War Daddies they lost.
I can't do the War Daddies. I don't know.
That's a common theme.
It's not. I don't know who actually uses the words War Daddies.
Coaches and recruiters. But yeah, they do. I mean, yeah, and donkeys. Donkey's the guy that can't play. A War Daddy is usually a big defensive tackle that can plug holes, probably a 3 technique guy. But I'm not going to get into the outside shoulder.
Just go ahead and send me some examples of people using War Daddies.
So you want me to start recording my phone calls with coaches?
No, I want you to send me articles where people actually say War Daddies.
Okay.
I
can
go for it.
Just go to press conference and say War. No, it's not something that you say publicly. Thoroughbreds.
Only you say it publicly.
Yeah, because I give you insight. So Thoroughbred's another one. Yeah. So those are some of the things I'm just trying to work with you. Just trying to help out. Notre Dame is always overrated, John said. Yes, they are always overrated. But, man, their recruiting class is doing really well. So I think this coach is going to have talent there. I think you want to be the next guy at Notre Dame. I think there's somebody out there that's going to be the next guy that's going to have really good success because I think this guy will recruit really, really well. 28 days today. Can't use Raymond. Is it 28 days? It is 28 days till Tennessee's first game. That is
29.
unbelievable. No, it's 28. It's on a Thursday. He's right.
I missed a game then, or I missed a day.
Yeah, somehow it's Thursday. It feels like Friday to me, so I'm going in the wrong direction. Pedigo Chattanooga, locally owned store. You'll always be going in the right direction with Pedigo Chattanooga. Pedigo Chattanooga has the e-bikes of quality. They have service. You're not going to get stuck with a bike that you don't want. 28 days. I guess that would be Raymond Austin. So I'm going Utah. We have the question that's out there and rocking it. So what are we hearing so far? I know it hasn't been up there yet. We'll let it stew for a while.
Let's let it stew before we go crazy.
Okay. I'm not going crazy. Now, I do want to – I've been known to go crazy. Okay, so we talked a little bit about – I think you're really going to enjoy this, our listeners out there. A little off topic, but Vin Scully passing away. And I want to be sure and credit the Los Angeles Dodgers radio network for this because – we've heard a lot of his great calls in the past couple of days, past 36 hours, but we want to hear from him as what he really is. And that was a day-to-day broadcaster. So this is probably not his favorite broadcasting moment because you're going to hear a clip in which he has 4 errors in the game in one play. But I absolutely love this call. Here's Vin Scully again. We credit the Los Angeles Dodgers radio network. So if you're watching, you saw that. If you see that play, courtesy again of LA Sportsnet, if you see that play, it's kind of like an inside the park home run because the batter was able to score. However, there are 3 errors, so it's not even a hit. And it was just the ball's flying around the infield. And Vin Scully has to be thinking to myself, I've seen a lot of great baseball, but this is about as bad as it gets. I love that call. I loved that call.
I know. He was one of the best. Or he was the best. They're not one of the best. He was the best. And so I think he'll be very, very, very missed. Like, I think it'll be sad for a while.
By the way, prayers to Eli Gold, who will miss the beginning of the season. Alabama's long play-by-play guy who is so very good. And I always liked Eli because I thought he was very strong and that he didn't go the Larry Munson route. I'm not knocking Larry. Georgia fans are going to hate me, but I thought he was a little too homerish. Eli, I thought a lot like John Ward. You knew who he was rooting for, but it wasn't overt. So I think a lot of Eli Gold. I need to shoot him a text. Actually, he is. I've heard a lot of these guys driving around in the middle of the night after covering a Tennessee game, Amanda driving home on away games, and he is the one of this generation. Maybe he's not of this generation, but he is the one I would put up there with the Wards, the Munsons, really. And you don't have that anymore because every game's televised. I mean, Bob Kessling can never be John Ward because games are televised and the delay's off. So nobody's ever going to turn down the TV and listen to the radio. That's just forever changed. Well, with Eli, I don't blame you.
I do because I can't stand Beth's.
Let me say this real quick. I didn't mean that as a knock at Bob. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I can't stand Beth Goins or whatever her name is. I cannot stand her voice. Can't stand it. Cannot listen to her call a football game. So if ever she calls an Alabama game, or if it's somebody I don't like calling an Alabama game, even when it was Vern and Gary, like I can't stand Gary. I didn't like Vern either. So even them, I would turn the TV down and listen to Eli Gold do it because it's so much better.
See, I like Gary. I'm one of the few, though. I'm definitely in the minority.
Stand Gary.
Glad I didn't introduce you to Gary during SEC Media Days. You got to get to Big Orange Phillies right there in the heart of Halls. Gary Vols is taking care of you. He's also with Vols Automotive Group. But in the heart of Halls, right there in Maynardville Pike. So if you're in Maynardville, it's easy to get to. If you're in North Knoxville, it's easy to get to. And it's family friendly. That means a lot. They've got darts, karaoke. They've got it all. They're at Big Orange Phillies, so check them out. Great place to watch the games. And we've got football. I know it's the Hall of Fame game, but we do have football this weekend, so that's exciting. Do you get excited about the Hall of Fame game at all, Amanda?
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
However, I don't get excited, but I think it's smart for, the NFL to put that out there right now when everybody's just itching, like seriously, just like addicts scratching themselves, waiting for a football game that's not in Canada.
Didn't it used to be a rematch of the previous Super Bowl teams?
I don't know, but I don't think it's a good idea.
It was a terrible idea because they would play 5 preseason games after they played into February.
Yeah.
That's why so many teams in the 80s, there were at least a dozen, maybe 8 teams in the 80s and early 90s before they changed it up a little bit that would win the Super Bowl and not have a winning season the next year.
Because they all got hurt.
Yeah, because they had a 3-week off season. It's like, I gotta be in Canton win. I would love. Would you rather go to that Hall of Fame or the Baseball Hall of Fame or the College Women's Basketball Hall of Fame? Or which Hall of Fame would you most want to go to?
I mean, we went to the College Football Hall of Fame, and that was really cool.
That was
cool.
That one a lot. We were at all of them.
I would rather go to probably the one in Canton. You're not taking me to a Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Like, it's just not happening. I'm sorry. No.
I have decided that I'm going to mark something off the bucket list, and it will provide great content for our fans. I've decided that I want to go to the Heisman ceremony this year. So we'll see how that goes. See if I don't make anybody mad. You think I'll make?
I hope not. I think you'll make someone mad.
Now I want to interview the Heisman guys because they all show up.
They don't all show up.
The vast majority do. Like 75.
Like 3 of them show up, and sometimes it's just 2. Like if one guy's like, I ain't winning it.
I'm talking about winners.
Oh, I thought you meant
won. The
Heisman thing.
Yeah, they go to the Heisman. Former winners go to the Heisman thing. So like you could be.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You could be standing in between Tony Dorsett and Barry Sanders. It's
I would love to go. I mean, I would love to go and meet these people.
We'll do the town right. If we can make it in New York, we can make it at anywhere. Jay-Z or Frank Sinatra said.
Okay, I would feel like the best thing, I think, standing next to some of these guys, like a Derrick Henry or, except for Devontae Smith, except for him, I would feel like this big. Like if ever you had a fat day, just stand next to one of them and you're like, okay, I'm not that big. I don't take up that much space.
John saying Ron Franklin was great. John, I liked Ron Franklin a lot too. Did you like Ron Franklin? The play-by-play guy? You didn't like him or you don't remember him?
I don't remember him.
Fair enough. He didn't make much of an impression. I tell you who would make an impression is Vols Automotive Group right there on Callahan. Vols Automotive Group in the heart of Powell. They have the service. They have the integrity. That's the most important. They want, they need, and they appreciate your business. And they have selection. So where are we on today's tough question, Amanda?
So in today's tough question, who do you think is the most overrated team in preseason 2022 rankings? We have Notre Dame leading the pack at 42.9%.
42.9%. John saying, loved him in the 90s, ESPN game of the night. John, my biggest memory is that Thursday night game where Virginia upset Florida State, and that had to be like 96. That was I'll never forget that game. He had a great call that night, and Amanda wasn't born. That's sobering. All right.
I was born.
You were born?
Yes.
Okay. You look like you're 22, so that's how I think of you most of the time. Just a very,
what do you
very,
need from me today?
very smart. It was 95. Look at John bringing it. Well, I don't need anything. I just think you're doing a great job. Just keep it up.
Yeah.
Keep
something.
It up.
You need something.
You want to play a little message board bingo?
I love message board bingo.
Okay, well, let me do this real quick first. We're going to talk Cruton because there is some Cruton news out there thanks to our friend Ryan Callahan at Go Vols 24/7.
Talking Cruton.
Am I right or am I right or am I right?
Who's on Tennessee's board? The names you need to know exclusively on Off the Hook Sports with Dave Hooker.
This is via Ryan Callahan, so I want to be sure and cite it properly. And Talking Cruton is brought to you by Honeybee Coffee. Amanda's going to tell you more about that here momentarily. So a couple of things in a chat that I found interesting from Tennessee's perspective in recruiting is he talked about Ricky Gibson. He was supposedly maybe going to go by August the 5th, but that's only been a possibility, Ryan says. And we'll see. He got an offer from Auburn on Tuesday. Ricky Gibson, of course, is the cornerback out of Hewitt-Trussville in Trussville, Alabama. It looks like Georgia's pretty high on him as well. Arkansas just getting there. So this is a 2023 guy that's kind of making a late splash a little bit. The other one, Ryan says, worth watching over the next 2 or 3 weeks is 4-star cornerback Jordan Matthews of Baton Rouge, likely to announce a decision before the start of the season. And as far as what Tennessee needs moving forward, Ryan Callahan saying definitely a cornerback, 2 would be preferred, and another offensive lineman, one that could play tackle and a guard tackle type that could play either. And he thinks that Tennessee would like to add another receiver too. Now the Vols have some options on the defensive line, but it's still crazy to me. But here we are. National Signing Day is 6 months away, the second one in February, and the class is pretty much done. But tell us about Honeybee Coffee, because you'll feel done in the morning if you don't sleep well, but you have some Honeybee Coffee, you'll be good to go because it's the top beans in the world.
It is.
You are a fantastic human being.
Not this again. Not the bean jokes. I can't
That's
handle
still
bean
gold.
jokes.
For those who weren't listening to the SEC Media Days, we had Roger McCrary, who was a first-round pick of the Titans, and I told a bunch of corny bean jokes. He loved it. Amanda is so incredibly embarrassed to be associated with it that his PR person has asked us for clips of it, and I don't think you sent it because you're just embarrassed of me.
I don't have any comments right now for this. I'm just going to drink my Honeybee coffee over here because that's what I have in my glass.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, Amanda, let's get to some message board bingo. Do you want me to give the music bet a shot, or are we just going to roll with it dry?
That's
it's completely your okay. Here we go, because we have all the copyrighted music we need, but for some reason, this software won't let us play it. So we'll have John saw that game in Hess Hall. I saw that game, John. I guess if that was 95, that was probably about when I was asked to leave. I saw that game at the downtown Hampton Inn bar, where maybe I knew the guy who ran it, and my tab at the end of the night with food and several drinks was $8.25. But that's just a possibility. I'm not saying that happened. And I'm not saying he got a $50 tip either. Those things can or don't happen. Amanda never played that. Back in my drinking days, she never fudged on a bill to get a bigger tip. So it's called integrity, kids.
Well, yeah, that's accurate.
I was a good tipper though back in the day.
You were a good patron. Yes.
Okay.
You were decent.
Decent? All right. That's hurtful. All right. Message board bingo. Let's roll with it.
What does that even mean? You can put lipstick on a Bama fan, but
I don't think you like the fact that you're a Bama fan. I don't know.
I don't care. It's fine. I'm gonna cry now.
I know you wouldn't. All right, go ahead. What do we got? Message board bingo with some chill hop playing in the background.
God bless it. Okay. Waiting for a 6-6 season is just going to hurt next year's recruiting ability worse. Just rip the Band-Aid off now. He's god awful.
Okay, they're talking about a coach.
Obviously.
And what team? It's my goal to try to get 2 out of 3. I think that is Missouri talking about Elijah Drinkwitz.
Auburn.
Oh!
I thought you would get that. You love
that is
Brian Harsin.
I don't love Brian Harsin. I had to cover Brian Harsin for a year.
I know. I'm saying facetious.
I know more about Brian Harsin than I should. John said Brian Kelly, I guess, is overrated. All right, so okay, yeah. Dad, blame it. I should have got that one. I feel like you give me a gimme, like one gimme, and that was my gimme, and I'll
that was your gimme, yeah.
So I got an uphill battle. All right, what's next?
All right. Have you seen Texas lately? They have been terrible. In some ways, having Texas on the schedule will be nice because they're always overrated and tend to choke. If Kansas can beat them, surely we can. Oklahoma's another story, but they lost Lincoln Riley and have new system, so they are a big question mark. Auburn is crapping the bed finally and might be heading for Tennessee slump. Their recruiting class is in the 70s and the coaching situation is in disarray. Auburn, Georgia, and LSU have all been firing coaches like Tennessee, but keep getting lucky with new hires. At least one of them's luck may have ran out.
Okay, I do have breaking news, by the way, if I can, real quick.
Go for it.
Yeah. Texas went 5-7 last year. How do you go 5-7 to Texas? That's a challenge. Amanda and I could go 6-6. So who's... No, it wasn't. But everybody says breaking news now, even when it's not. It just stuns me still that they're 5-7. Okay, so who said that? I'm going to say that Mississippi State said that.
Tennessee.
Tennessee said that? All right. So I'm 0 for 2. What's third?
Yeah. All right. So this is what someone said, and this was their response. The SEC seems to view Clemson's addition as ho-hum. The Tigers not adding anything to their viewership market. Clemson does add something to their Big Ten market with the Southeast. Of course, FSU would add more. So this is the response. LOL, when you walk into a car dealership, do you gush and fawn all over the car you want, or do you pretend that you don't care? You're not really even sure you want that car or why you showed up in the first place, because that car can be had for a much better price at the dealership down the road. Come on, guys, think.
First of all, I go to Vols Automotive Group and I don't have to worry about it. Second of all, who said that? North Carolina.
It's Clemson. It's a Clemson fan.
Clemson said that about themselves?
Yeah, that they are the ones, they're the like fancy car in the...
They're not
like
fancy anymore.
I know, in the ACC showroom, they're the fancy car. And that when you walk into the dealership, do you go to the fancy car and just go crazy over it? Or do you just walk by it?
I go to Vols Automotive Group. Yeah, I see what they're saying. Listen, Clemson is like Tesla without Elon Musk right now. They've lost their mojo. I mean, it's not as exciting. It's not on the tip of our tongue. I mean, Tesla could go on and be a successful car brand to rival Ford and Chevrolet one day. I don't know. Maybe. Probably not. But without Elon Musk, it's just not exciting.
Okay, so Elon Musk would be the coach, not necessarily Trevor Lawrence, because that's what you're saying.
He's both. He's the coach quarterback. It's quarterback coach.
That's a lot then. But they are
he's the defensive coordinator too.
All right.
Now that Brent Venables is at Oklahoma,
they're
he's got to wear a lot of hats.
Oh Lord, preseason ranked 5th, and this is why I hate preseason rankings. But they're ranked 5th in the preseason.
Amen, sister. Bassey Lawn and Garden, man alive. It's worth the drive right there in beautiful Cleveland. Commercial mowers, residential mowers. They've got it all. Hedgers, trimmers. That's Bassey Lawn and Garden. Big changes coming to the show as we continue to evolve in the coming weeks. We hope that you'll be a part of it, including Chris Landry and other special guests that we'll have tomorrow. We'll make that announcement. Another special guest that we'll have on a weekly basis next week. So a lot going on, and more of the chill pop non-copyrighted music that you just can't get enough of.
No, stop. And just for Sam, there will be more lipstick colors coming. So,
okay, I like the lipstick. It looks great.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day, everyone. She's Amanda LaFrada. I'm Dave Hooker. This is a presentation of Off the Hook Sports. We'll see you tomorrow at 9.